Your mom tells you dinner is ready. You don't move. Your phone buzzes. You move instantly. Why does one ping from a friend pull harder than the voice of the person who raised you? It feels almost disloyal. But the real answer is far stranger than disloyalty. It's not about who loves you more. It's about what your brain thinks will keep you alive. Picture a normal Tuesday. You're scrolling through a group chat. Someone posts a photo from a party you weren't at. Your stomach drops. Not because you're jealous of the party, because some ancient part of your brain just registered a threat. The threat isn't a lion. It isn't a flood. It's the possibility that your friends are forming a world without you in it. And to a teenage brain, that possibility feels dangerous. Genuinely, physically dangerous. Here's the strange part. Your brain doesn't fully distinguish between social rejection and physical pain. Psychologist Naomi Eisenberger ran a series of studies where participants were left out of a simple ball-tossing game. Just a game. Nothing physically threatening. But brain scans showed activity in the same region that lights up during a broken bone. The anterior cingulate cortex, a small strip of tissue that flags distress, didn't care whether the wound was social or physical. Pain is pain to it. So when you feel that hollow drop in your chest after being excluded, that's not an exaggeration. That's your nervous system doing its job. Now here's where it gets interesting for you specifically as a teenager. Your brain is not just wired to notice social pain. It's wired to seek social reward, and it seeks it more intensely right now than it ever will again. Neuroscientist Sarah Jane Blakemore has spent years mapping how the adolescent brain changes. Her research shows the reward system, especially a region called the ventral striatum, becomes hypersensitive during the teenage years. It responds more strongly to peer approval than the same brain will respond in adulthood. Not a little more, significantly more. Your brain, right now, is chemically primed to treasure your friends' opinions above almost anything else. Why would evolution build a brain like that? Wouldn't it make more sense to keep valuing your parents' guidance the most? Actually, no. Think about what your ancestors needed. As a child, you needed protection, so your brain prioritized parents. But as you approach the age where you'd eventually leave the family group, find a mate, build alliances, and survive without your parents' constant help, your brain needed new priorities. It needed to start caring urgently about how peers saw you. Not because peers matter more as people, because peer bonds are about to become your actual survival network. Psychologist Lawrence Steinberg has shown this shift isn't just emotional, it's measurable. In his studies, teenagers took more driving risks in a simulated game, but only when their friends were watching. Alone, they drove cautiously. With friends present, risk-taking spiked. The presence of peers didn't just influence behavior. It changed the brain's calculation of what counted as rewarding. So when you check that phone before finishing dinner, you're not choosing friends over family out of disrespect. You're running code that was written for a world where peers standing predicted whether you'd eat next season or eat alone. Here's the twist, though. Your ancestors' peer groups were small. Maybe 15 people. Maybe 30. Everyone in the group had roughly the same information about you. Approval was earned slowly, through years of shared hunts and shared struggle. Now imagine dropping that same ancient reward system into a world with hundreds of contacts, infinite comparison points, and a like button that delivers a hit of validation in under a second. Psychologist Mitch Prinstein, who has studied popularity for decades, distinguishes between two very different kinds of status. One is likability, being someone people genuinely enjoy and trust. The other is visibility, being someone people notice and talk about, whether or not they actually like you. Prinstein's research suggests social media rewards visibility, not likability. Your brain, however, still reacts to both the same way it always has. It cannot easily tell the difference between being loved and being merely seen. That's the mismatch. Your reward system evolved for slow, deep, small group approval. It's now operating inside a fast, shallow, enormous arena. No wonder it feels overwhelming. No wonder a single unanswered text can wreck an entire afternoon. Your brain isn't broken. It's just running very old software on very new hardware. Does this mean your parents' approval doesn't matter anymore? Not at all. It means something quieter. Their approval still shapes your sense of safety and worth, often more than you'd admit out loud. But your peers' approval activates a louder, faster, more urgent signal because your brain has temporarily reclassified them as essential to your future. This isn't a flaw in you. It's a feature that was useful for thousands of generations, arriving a little too intensely in a world that moves faster than it was ever designed for. Understanding this changes what you can do with it. When a friend's silence feels unbearable, you can remind yourself that your brain is reacting as if survival is at stake, even though it usually isn't. When you feel pulled to take a risk just because friends are watching, you can recognize that pull for what it is, an ancient reward circuit lighting up, not a reliable measure of what's actually wise. And when the ache of being left out shows up, you don't have to treat it as proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that your brain is doing exactly what it evolved to do. So the next time your phone buzzes at dinner and you feel that magnetic pull, don't be so hard on yourself for reaching for it. Your brain isn't betraying your family. It's preparing you for a future your ancestors couldn't have imagined, using instructions written long before phones, group chats, or dinner tables even existed. The pull isn't disloyalty. It's an old survival